So my name is Vince Cavino. I am the CEO of SeaQuest. We just recently opened there in Littleton in early June, just a month and a half ago. Oh, absolutely. We never stopped operating, and we immediately complied. And from our standpoint, we've been in compliance with them. They've come in many times. Obviously, we're cutting some new trail here with the level of interaction. This has never been done in the history of the state of Colorado. They've come in many times, had many requests, and each time we have been very prompt to make the corrections. In this last visit, they ultimately determined that the number of birds in the aviaries needed to be decreased. We've successfully operated with the number that we had in all of our other locations, but they wanted to have less birds, and so we removed the parakeets, and everything else is everything's fully operational without a hiccup or delay. Not at all. And even in this location, it hasn't been a problem. And that's obviously it's discouraging for us because we've had 100,000 visitors and not so much as a bird catch a cold, not a single injury of any type, guest or animal. And so, we didn't, obviously we didn't agree. We felt we had a very safe, healthy setup and happy habitat for the animals, for the birds. This is the only thing in question here was the birds. They wanted us to decrease the number of birds. I talked to them again this morning. We are in full compliance, and we've asked them to sit down with us and talk about measures that they would like to see to increase the number of birds. We would like to bring parakeets back. We have a lot of species that are far more exotic, toucans and umbrella cockatoos and these beautiful rainbow lorikeets, but the parakeets are fun for kids. So we would like to have those back at some point and expand the aviaries, and we think we'll do that. Well, we had temporary approval for them while we were working with them on final approval, and they had a long list of things that they wanted us to change. None of those things were required in other states, but to Colorado's credit, the state of Colorado has asked us to elevate some things, and we've embraced it. We've done everything they've asked us to do, and we're in full compliance. Well, there's not a rule or regulation for every last thing, and there are certainly things that we're doing that have never been done, and the regulators had to come in from several departments, not just PACFR, but many departments, and on a federal and state and local level, and we had to work through a lot of requests and a lot of special requirements, and those have all been satisfied fully and completely. But yeah, there are things that we're doing there that have never been done, and there's not a rule written for them, and so. You obviously yield to those organizations that have jurisdiction, and you make sure that you cooperate, which we've done. We probably had a dozen or 15 inspections before we opened, which is not atypical. We've probably had 10 or 12 total inspections between the different governing bodies since we've opened, and those have been positive. There's been feedback in some cases, which we've complied immediately, and in most cases, it's just been very glowing, very positive, and obviously that's why we've had no delay in any of our areas. The aviaries are open, everything's open, and everyone's engaging. We're having 2,000 guests a day. Yeah, some days are 1,500, some days are 3,000, but around there, yeah. And we're seeing a lot of success in the interaction. People love to interact with animals, and that's a cornerstone of what we provide and deliver to the guest, as part of the experience at SeaQuest. We added some new exhibits here. We wanted to do some things that were new and creative. We got fun ideas from our theming team with Iceland, an Icelandic fishing village with the Great Wall of China, some things in the Egyptian desert, which we had a lot of fun with. We had never done the Pacific Islands before, and had a lot of fun with that. Great educational opportunities, or as our team members like to say, edutainment. And so we did some new things that you won't see in any other SeaQuest. Well, our experience is if you go there and you see the thousands and thousands of visitors that we've had having a great experience, these animals are interacting. So I can't speak to what this person's experience other than to say that what we see on a daily basis is thousands of people having an amazing time and the animals embracing it, eating out of their hands, coming up close. They're not avoiding the guests by any means. If you go there, you'll see it. They're not avoiding you. They're coming up to you. The stingrays, a lot of people say, boy, they're just like puppy dogs. And we see that with all the animals. They're just very acclimated. And we did that slowly. We had these animals were bonding with their caretakers, with the husbandry team before opening for weeks and weeks, in a couple cases for months. And they're very well acclimated slowly and safely. So it's been a great success. The animals are all healthy and happy, and the husbandry team there has just done a tremendous job. First requirement to work at SeaQuest, you have to love the animals, and I can tell you, these folks, they love working with these animals. They're just best friends with them, and they do a heck of a job of taking care of them. Well, these are both PACFA, and PACFA had a very long list. These are not rules that I know of that are written anywhere, so these are not these are new things, and they had lists of things that needed to be done. We complied, we did them. They came back in, and they had some new things after coming in and seeing a lot of guests in there. They felt that we needed to change a couple of things in our procedures, which we did that as well. Ultimately, they came back again, and keep in mind, there's a lot of people there. It's different when things slow down in September, October, but when they come, the first couple months you open, it's very busy. And they were still of the opinion as of yesterday that, hey, you know what, we need to lower the number of birds. We need to change the way this is done in the aviaries just to ensure, to their credit, out of an abundance of caution, to be sure that none of the birds are at risk. None of the birds did get hurt in that entirely busy time. Not a single incident of any kind. So we certainly feel we were operating safely. Our track record shows that we were operating safely. But look, it's changing the number of birds. It's not something that's going to really have an impact on the guest experience. Now in that aviary, they go in and they can feed green peas and blueberries to a toucan. So it's still an exciting and an exotic experience for the guest. Absolutely. I spoke with them today, this morning. I spoke to PACFA, and I told them of our commitment to work with them, to cooperate, to make sure that we're doing the things that they feel comfortable with. Again, they've raised the bar, and they've asked us to do things that we've not had to do in any other city, and that's fine. Again, we've embraced that. And if they have other things that they want to come back and say, you know what, we think you really need to have this, well, there's probably some merit to it, and we'll visit with them, and there's probably going to be a great solution. But we're committed to cooperating with all the authorities as we're doing currently. We are in full compliance with all of them. Well, I need to communicate on them on what's inferred by that. I don't know what's being imputed there, but I can tell you that I spoke with them this morning. They came by again this afternoon at 1 p.m. And when they left, I have a text message from my two lead managers that said we are in full compliance with PACFA. So it sounds like we might need to go back and have another discussion as to what exactly that means. But again, we're committed to cooperating. We have a very open dialogue with these folks, and they've been very flexible with us and helped us. They've held us to a very high standard, but we've worked with them every step of the way. I'd say ask your daughter how she feels about the planet. What are her thoughts on the environment, on plastic, on pollution? Show her some pictures. Show her the SeaQuest Cares video, the things that she can do to get involved right there in Littleton, in the Denver metro area. I can tell you this, any child that has come and had an experience, an intimate, tactile experience with these animals, they're going to be personally vested in their environment. And let's face it, there are big problems with our planet right now, with the environment. And there's bigger things we could be talking about. The work with charities that we've done. You've done plenty of work with charities in your career, and we would love to see the media embrace that. The things that we are doing in our communities, not just in the communities in the other cities, but right there in Littleton, we're doing wonderful things right now with a lot of nonprofit partners where we're giving away thousands of memberships and passes and animal rescue efforts that have just been hundreds of animals being rescued every single year. So I would say to that mother and to any mother that's wondering, boy, what about this news? Should I be concerned? This was just about birds. We dropped the number of birds immediately within hours of it being requested. We have complied within hours, sometimes within minutes when possible, to these requests. We are in full compliance. And if you want your children to learn about the environment and have a true love for the animals, have them come have a relationship where they're able to feed them and hold them and interact with them. And they're going to have a bond, and it's going to change the way that they treat the environment. We love it when the media, gets the word out that certified teachers come free. We want them to know about the educational platform, that there are nonprofits that we sponsor. We have so many relationships, and we want them to come to us. We want them to tell us how we can help them with free memberships and free admissions. We want everyone to know that there are 500,000 foster children in this country, and thousands of them come to SeaQuest every year and enjoy free admission. And I'll tell you, they have a wonderful time. Autistic societies come in private time where we donate our facility to them for free. We want to make sure that the word is out to the community that you can come to SeaQuest and have a wonderful time. Particularly, we want to work with the underprivileged. Our backpack drives to give free admission in exchange for backpacks for underprivileged children. There's lots of things that we are doing, and we need to do more in that community to be givers in the community.